I think it is so important that there are people out there that are willing to dedicate their time, their money, and all their effort into helping this little tiny fish that normally most people wouldn't care about. I mean, these fish could have gone extinct. They could have disappeared from the world and not many people would know about it. And yet here we are. They're trying their best to live their life. They're breeding. They've got little babies. These guys up there are the future of their species. And I think that is so important and wonderful. Creative Pet Keeping. Today we're hanging out with
Andrew Perkowski
and
Jason Adams, Primetime Aquatics.
And it's kind of awesome because we're gonna do a fish room tour, Andy's fish room tour of his super rare, beautiful and cute tiny little Goodeids, and it's gonna be a two-parter. So I'm gonna predominantly focus on the tanks behind us, and Jason is going to finish the rest off in the other room. And you know what? You know what's better? What's better? If you like these fish and want to know even more about them, he's got a YouTube channel.
You can find me at Andrew Perkowski. Just real simple. I post about fish that people haven't heard about and a channel people can't spell. But you guys will have the link in the description.
Yes. And I hope you check it out because these little fish are really cute and I hope you'll like them as much as I do. We are checking out the first top rack over here. So what kind of fishies do you have hanging out?
Alright, so over here I have Xenotania resolane. It's also known as the leopard split fin. I think the common names might be a little bit easier. Xenotania is definitely a tongue twister if you see it written out. The next one here is an undescribed species of Scyphia from Sayula in Jalisco, Mexico.
These guys are so cute.
The next one, this is the bulldog Goodeids. This is Aloaphorus robustus. I also feed them way more than any of the other fish because these guys will grow to be one of the largest of the Goodeids species. And I had mentioned this one's a carnivore. The family itself is highly variable and there's already so many species, but this one here is a carnivore, the Xenotania. The Scyphia is an herbivore. These are a carnivore, and then this over here, the Gerardnichthyes viviparus, those are actually omnivorous.
So these little guys are very interesting because you've got some brand new babies, and you've told me that the way the fry developed in the mother is a lot different, surprisingly, than I would imagine for guppies, which is what I'm used to for live bears.
One of the things that really attracted me to the Goodeids is the mode of reproduction, because there's something that's odd about them that they have in common more so with like people than they do with like the different guppies. Guppies have, they're referred to as ovoviviparous. They have eggs that hatch internally, and then the babies feed off of a yolk sac and then they're born. With these, they have a very small yolk sac, but instead they grow what looks kind of like an octopus that grows from their bottom. And that actually helps them to absorb nutrients directly from the mother.
So like an umbilical cord.
Yeah, so they refer to it as a pseudo-umbilical cord, pseudo-placenta. It's an external intestine, so they're feeding directly on the nutrients provided by the mother, and I think that that's absolutely fascinating. So these obscure fish from Mexico have this in common with people.
Huh. Who would have thought? Which makes these fish, they're already special enough as it is, but that makes them even more special and more important. And it's awesome that you're helping preserve this species.
Down here, I actually have two different species in here. This one here that has the fringe on the fins, This
really
is
pretty.
This is Ilidan furcidens. That's a boy, and it's also known as the trout Goodeids. This one here, these other guys, this is called the jeweled split fin, Xenotoca variata. And if you can tell, you might want to get some shots of them.
Iridescent.
The way it iridesces on the scales. Yeah, and in this tank I've let it go pretty natural. You can see there's a lot of algae growth, and the guppy grass has gotten overgrown. But the fish are thriving. There's actually young Ilidan swimming around. You can see it. So they're having babies in here.
So oftentimes it's a little confusing. You assume that an algae-filled tank is a dirty tank, and a tank that's like really clean looking is a clean tank. But it's really about balancing the ecosystem that you have, and a lot of algae and a lot of plants will absorb a lot of the nutrients or provide a food source. Sometimes microorganism will grow inside, so sometimes you can really create a really awesome habitat that to the human eye might not look too fancy, but is going to be really healthy for the fish. So now we're hanging out on the floor over here with the bottom rack. So why don't we, I'm going to scooch over here, start with these guys, because their fins are so cool. They have like little sails and they're yellow and really adorable.
So this is actually known as Gerardnichthyes multiradiatus, or its common name is the golden sailfin or the dark edge split fin, because you'll see the males have that darker band,
yes,
the marginal end. So it's a very beautiful little fish. This is actually the same genus as the Viviparus that we looked at a little bit earlier. This is a true cold water species. So you might have noticed I don't have heaters in any of these tanks. I keep them very cool. It's ambient to the room. This species in particular has been collected underneath ice.
What?
Up in the mountains, found about 9,000 feet above sea level.
That's so cool.
If I let this tank get too hot, then I'll end up losing all those fish.
What would be the max temperature that you think?
Probably
you can handle?
about 72.
Wow. These guys are cute because I see little speckles on them.
Yeah. This here is a tank just of baby Xenotoca melanosoma. This is the black Goodeids. The specific epithet actually means black body.
Oh.
So melanosoma. Because we were talking about them being live bears and being a little bit different from the Pacillids, the guppies that you normally see, Xenotoca actually means strange carrying. So they carry their babies strange as compared to like the more common Pacillids.
That's cool.
So it's a really cool fish.
I like the little, they're not pots, but the bottom parts.
Oh yeah, the terracotta saucers.
Yeah, there we go.
I love using, I have pots all over the place.
But the saucers, I've never seen anyone use those before. That's really cool.
Yeah, and this stuff, it grows like grass. It's a Dwarf Sagittario.
And it looks like an awesome place for like fried hide, or if anyone is bullied, they can just kind of dart in, and it's like a safe place.
Oh yeah, I love it. And we move into the next one now? Okay, in here, these are young Amika Splendens. This is also known as the butterfly Goodeids. There is another tank that has adults in the other room that I'm not sure if you have the footage of it.
I might have, that might be somewhere near. If not, check out Jason's videos or his videos.
Or you can check out my videos.
Yeah, because he has dedicated videos with a lot of awesomeness and up close footage.
So the Amika Splendens, I love having the terracotta pots all over the place. It's really easy to grow all kinds of plants, and then you don't actually have to dirt your entire tank.
That's pretty nifty, and it's useful
like
too.
A nice little piece of rotala. It's starting to grow another stem on it.
So these are young guys.
Yeah, these are young.
The juveniles, and then you have bigger ones in another tank.
I do have some bigger ones. The Amika are herbivores. They primarily feed on a lot of algae. So I use Amika Splendens in my algae cleanup tanks for sure.
So they're pretty useful guys, but they're really awesome. And then you mentioned that they're from a very specific location in the wild.
Amika Splendens currently is only found in one spot, and it's a man-made pool. It's at the Balneario and El Rincon, off of the Rio Teochitlan. So it's not found anymore in the actual river. It's only in that man-made pool.
So if something happens to that one location, these guys would be completely gone. So the fact that we have hobbyists that are keeping these guys, in small amounts, like Andy, is preserving a species and pretty much being a backup plan for an entire little species of fish.
Which we haven't even talked about, but Zoogeneticus tequila, the Tequila Split Fin. that fish had actually been extinct in the wild and then was reintroduced actually into the balneario where these guys are currently found. And now that fish is not considered extinct in the wild. It's only critically endangered, but they're doing really well there. And that's part of there was a concerted effort between the Chester Zoo, the Aqualab down in Mexico, and also like John Lyons up in University of Wisconsin, who's the head of the North American Goodeids Working Group. All those people working together to get those fish back in the wild where they're supposed to be. I think that's amazing.
That's awesome.
All those fish are from fish that were being kept by hobbyists.
So it's amazing how together we all have the potential to help fish in the wild. That being said, when working with fish that are either endangered or extinct or even vulnerable, you have to be careful that's something you have to prepare for, research, have experience with probably at least other similar type fish first, because it's something you have to commit to, and there is a little bit less room for error because there's not a lot of these fish. So if something goes wrong and if you lose your little group, that could really impact the species as a whole. So while I hope that this video might encourage some people to get interested in CARES, I also hope that you put a lot of thought into it and don't take it lightly. I'm hoping to eventually take on a CARES species, but even I'm waiting and kind of working with other different cichlids because I'm hoping to work with cichlid CARES fish. But even I don't think I'm ready, so take your time and really think about it. And lastly, let's finish it off with the coolest tank in the entire fish room. This is the green tank, and we're going to talk about green water and why green water is actually something you might want in your tank, and some hobbyists actually try to start in their tank.
I had let it go completely green for a few reasons. One, the females were giving birth. And also, when you really let it go green, there's a lot of things that grow in the algae water. So there's all kinds of like little bugs and things like that, and the baby fish will actually feed on those. And these fish aren't very large themselves, so they'll probably go after it too. So I wanted to make sure that the fish were not being overly stressed. So I didn't want to mess with them. I didn't want to do a bunch of water changes, because sometimes when you do too many water changes, it can actually impact them in a negative way, even though we're trying to help. Anytime you reach into the tank and you start messing around, it stresses them out. And when you do a water change, you actually are changing the parameters somewhat.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is maintain consistency. So all of this is going to be, even putting this UV sterilizer in, I didn't necessarily want to do a massive water change, then put the UV sterilizer in to clear it up. I put this thing in because it's just doing a slow trickle. It's cleaning it up slowly. If I do any sort of major shock to a system, there's a chance I might lose them. And this species here, Toca Lions Eye, it's endangered, it's on the CARES list, and they're not the easiest thing to come by.
So it's very important. Be careful, take your time, and one day you too can be awesome, like Andy.
Ah, thank you.
Thank you so much for letting us come and take a look at these fish. I'm very happy to be able to not only find out that they exist, I came to your talk and you did awesome in the library club, so it's really cool. We need more people like this making a difference, and it all adds up, and we can make awesome things happen in the world. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. Sorry.
I don't know who you are.
I was about to say, my name is English. I'm from the cave.
Okay. Are we good and centered on the...
Do you want me to catch another one with my hand? Because I like
gobble it up like Schmiegel it?
This is like a prom photo.
Center. Yeah, that's center.
We're centered on that one?
Yeah.
And that one?
Okay. Should I just start off with mine? Should I just do it?
Yeah, do it, go.
Should I be smiling? I wasn't.
You could try to look happy. Pretend.
All right.